Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. This week I'm going to be working on the Datsun, finishing up some of the detail things that I need to get done before I can take the Datsun out and really drive it. Today's project is to fix the really old crappy hood pins that were installed many years ago and put in a little bit more modern solution. Stay tuned. Okay everybody, so today's project is to get the hood to latch. There's some barriers to that and I'm going to show you what those are. So there's a few barriers to that I need to overcome, and I'm going to show you what those are on the car. I'm actually just going to show you what those are right on the car. So if we look here, somebody along the way installed these old metal racing style hood pins. And to do that, they drilled some holes through the rain tray and up through the bottom of the hood. That's because the hood latch doesn't work. Fortunately, I was able to get the hood open once, but due to where the location of this hood latch is, which is in the center here, and there's only really one way to get to it. Some people will install a little extra cable and run it down through the side there in case it gets stuck. I decided that since somebody's already drilled holes in this hood, you can see here I've already removed one of the hood latches, or pin, I don't know what you call this part. Somebody's already made some pretty good work of this hood. I am going to install these sleek little hood release buttons. So the way these work is they have a much smaller pin that goes through the hood, but it doesn't come all the way out of the hood like a normal hood pin where you'd have a cotter that goes through here, a cotter pin. This has a little ball on the end that clicks into a recess inside, and to release it, you press the button and it releases the hood pin. So it's a pretty neat, like, sleek, low profile way to go if you have a really nice car. This is not a really nice car. This will be the nicest looking piece on the outside of the car next to the wheels, but we're going to make it look decent, and we're going to install these two. So this is a pretty good angle to show all of the things that kind of need to happen here for this to work. We need to make this hole a bit larger so that that hood pin or hood release sits down nice and flush. We need to make this piece down here accept the much smaller hood pin. And we need to drill the bottom side of the hood larger so that this nut and a socket will go through it and allow the hood to latch. Or, sorry, to allow the latch to actually stay attached to the underside of the hood. So there's going to be a few challenges to overcome on all this stuff, but that's what we're here for. I need to enlarge with my step drill here. So I'm just going to step this out to the appropriate size so that this will drop in like that. I have these installed, and I cut out some discs. I used the old ones as a template, and I had some scrap aluminum that I hastily in the cold weather painted with some black spray paint and used to cover up where the plates where the old screws went through. I did that on both sides. So that's how it'll look with the hood closed. It looks pretty nice, at least better than it did. Inside, we still have to fix this part here. So what I've come up with you'll remember these guys and the old nuts and bolts scenario. So I got a big fender washer from the hardware store, and I tack welded the nut to the bottom of it. I made this hole a little bit bigger so that it would drop in there. And then using this old bolt, I can hold it in place. And I'm just going to weld this in so that it stays in place. And then I can loosen this nut here on the outside, take the nut and bolt out, put the stud in, set it to the correct height, and then hopefully win. So I'll do that on both sides, and then this project should be done. So now you can see we have the bolt welded in place, and we'll just take our bolt and nut out of the way here. We'll move these things over. Now, figure out kind of where that needs to be, but that's how that'll look. And I'll do the other side, clean up all my stuff out of the way here, and we'll check and see how this all works. Okay, so now I have both the pins in place. I have just kind of eyeballed the height. It's probably needs to be adjusted a few times. I'm also going to leave the original hood latch, which you can't see until I lower the hood. I'm going to leave this piece in there because it gives a little bit of spring. All right, I'm going to give myself a 4 out of 5 stars on this job. One of the things that I didn't do was trust and verify where the original hole had been drilled for the hood pins. Looks like the hood had been moved or bent or something along the way, so this rear pin didn't line up perfectly, so I had to put a little bend in it to get it to where it needed to be. This one was perfect, but it should latch just fine. And let's see if I can do this from the opposite side of the car. Go. So, aside from the hood being a little quite out of alignment, these body lines are obviously perfect. It closes and latches now like I intended it to, and for the I think $17 I paid for these pins on Amazon, I think it looks tons better than these clunky old things hanging out in the hood with a bunch of screws tapped in it. So it's not the body shop way to fix it, but this car's not going to get fixed the body shop way. So ideally I would have welded these all up and smoothed and painted, and then rehabbed the old latch, made that all work. But this is a good 4 out of 5 stars solution. All right, so with that, that is one more project off the list on the Datsun. It is getting very close to being a reliable, very close to being a reliable driver for the summer. Got a few more little bugs to shake out here and there, and most notably, the brake lights stay on all the time. I think it's related to the wiring for the switch, but I just need to get under to the dash and figure out what's going on. Hopefully that's an easy solution. Wire up the fuel gauge sender back by the bumper, and then probably clean it up a little bit inside because there's a bunch of crap still inside from all the work I've done on it. And then this car is going to be declared a fun summer driver, so which means it's off to the Rabbit and back to the Mitsubishi. So that's all the time I have for today. Until next time, get out there and work on something.